It is 7:30 on a Wednesday. I am Camille Jones of CEJ Images. This show is called Logical Wellness, my desire being to connect you to your logic to get your body to a state of wellness. I am only streaming tonight on Chit Chat Radio 410. We are streaming on our website, chitchatradio410.com. And as always, y'all, thank you. I am streaming live at CEJ Images on IG. We are not streaming on TikTok tonight. And I'm going to tell you why. TikTok is nice. But TikTokers, they're a little spoiled, right? Love y'all who actually love TikTok. But y'all are a little spoiled. So you all like me to answer all questions when I'm on TikTok and you fire them at me hundreds at a time. So I'm not able to do that. So we are not going to be doing Logical Wellness on TikTok. We are going to be keeping Logical Wellness on all of our streaming networks. Tayden, my young love, I'm so glad I got to see you tonight. I missed you last week. Hi, Tayden. I miss you too. I'm going to come back and see you soon. Renee, my girl, Renee. So we are on all your streaming networks. You could still get Chit Chat Radio 410. But I am going to do separate live TikToks, probably starting tomorrow on Thursdays so that people can ask me questions. Positive P. What's up, Patrice? My affiliates, y'all, they're on the show. As always, affiliates, if you find questions that I have missed, please feel free to answer them for me. You are me, I am you. What's up, y'all? I miss y'all, but I don't miss DC. So not gonna be on TikTok, we're only gonna be on IG. So a couple things we wanna talk about tonight because they came up this week, yeah? And so I know, and I'm going to start off by saying this. I know that I don't like it when people say to me, I told you so, right? Unless I deserved it. If I deserve it because I was being hard-headed, then go ahead and tell me I told you so. Kyle Dean, what's up, sir? Nice to see you too. So I want to start by saying this. Let me see how I can say it. And this is based on what's happened in the last week since we spoke and a little before last week and the things that have now been brought to light and a lot of the things that are now getting ready to happen in this post-investigation of this whole 2-year plan that many of us came out of and many of us didn't. So I'm going to say this to you because, and I'm including me, we deserve to hear it. And that is this, for all of y'all who called us conspiracy theorists, for those of y'all who told us we sounded crazy, for those of us who said you have to be smarter than just being told, for those of us who said you're putting your health at risk, for those of us who said it doesn't make logical sense. We freaking told you. We told you. We told you exactly. I told you exactly what was going to happen in 2020 when they started talking about a so-called live jab. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to say it because now they're really into cutting us off. We told you. Some of you have lost connection with your family, your friends, over something that was so ideologically stupid that now the truth is coming out about is a sad place to be, right? It is a very sad place to be. And it's not fun for me. It's not fun for me to use your trauma to remind you to connect to your own brain. That's not fun for me. Experiencing people who have lost people is not fun for me. But many of us have to be reminded because many of y'all let fear supersede logic. And now the same people who told you everything was safe and great and wonderful from what information I have no idea are now telling you that we were right. That this particular solution that wasn't a solution is killing people. Heart attacks, strokes. I said, wait until the rate of uterine and fibroid cancers come out. All of this is information that they are now, and you know who I'm talking about, because finally the CDC and the NIH are acknowledging shit. But it's funny because they waited until little devil Fauci was gone, and they waited until they gave permanent liability waivers to the big pharma companies. So guess what? Those of you who were told by your government that this thing was safe for a very little minuscule virus, right? Because the virus wasn't the problem. It was your immunity or lack thereof through the lymphs. Those same people who told you, go ahead, just go ahead. It's safe. It's wonderful. And here you go, take some more. Those same people are now coming out because they have no other choice with the truth. And guess what? Those of y'all that have suffered and lost family members can't sue anybody. Nobody. Absolutely no one. Because 2 months ago, they gave the corporations and the businesses that you let control your health permanent liability waiver of what they are now acknowledging and were fighting to the teeth to deny over the last 2 years. Now, the logic and the illogic in what I'm saying is they're coming out now and saying it. Yeah? Why? Because now they're actually getting the results that give the data. So when those of us that you called conspiracy theorists, right? Which, by the way, I am very much so, I will raise two hands, because if you read a book, the CIA focused conspiracy theorists to be people who question the government when people started questioning how JFK really died. So yeah, that's me. Yep, that's me. And you could call me that 17 million times. Conspiracy theorist all day. It's a conspiracy until it comes true, right? So it was a conspiracy until it's true now. And if they're admitting the problem or part of the problem, imagine how enormous the problem actually is. Hence me and my affiliates and other holistic providers and free thinkers who question everything are simply trying to help you so that this isn't repeated for those of you who happen to still be here. We told you, because there is nothing logical about injecting yourself with a virus that is living when your lymphatic system was put there to filter every virus that comes through. That's why the lymph system is water. It carries oxygen. No virus can live in an oxygenated state. And I tried to tell you that too. So my objective every week is to simply make things make sense for you. Because if they don't make sense, the body follows the head. If the head or the brain is in chaos, the body is sick by default. So many of you ended up getting the C simply because you were worried about getting it. Because the signals from the brain control body function. So if my mission for you or my mission for this world is global wellness, what I mean is global logical wellness. Because if the study of human living organisms is logical, if it's biological, in order for that biology to be well and stay in balance, we have to use logic. It's there for us. It's there. Read the definition. But for you to allow yourself to be scared of, and here we go. Let's see how long they let me say this. Let yourself be scared of a government that has never done anything to personally protect you is insane, right? You all are scared of information that you're being told because you choose not to ask. All you had to do was ask. And when I say ask, I mean this. If you are told by a doctor, a physician, a practitioner, whoever, me, that you should do something, right, that carries so much conflict surrounding it. If you're told to do something, a very simple workaround, healing space, protection for you would simply be to ask why. Why? One word, one freaking letter. Ask why. Why? Why should I take that? How is that going to fix the problem? What is the problem? Where does the problem live? Remember who, what, when, where, why, and how. That's why they took that shit out of school, because the same bulldog who created Western medicine created formal education, which isn't education, it's indoctrination. Education means you're using the logic up here to gain more knowledge. You are not being indoctrinated, because many of y'all just indoctrinated your shit, your entire body, into a completely different function. Because let me explain the danger if I haven't done it a million times, which is why I hope to give you all things. When I tell you things to do for you, I don't mean do them this week, do them this month. I don't mean do them for a week and then stop. You're absolutely right, Erica. It is modern day slavery. Absolutely. Slavery, zombieism, all of that. Brain dead, walking dead. If you don't use the brain and you don't work it out, it will atrophy and it will die, and your body will go along, right along with it. Yeah. So when we're talking about your what you're supposed to do for your body, and this is why I say this. People say, Camille, well, how long should I detox? How long do you want to live? You need to detox forever. Yo, they're getting ready to not even getting ready. They've let Bill Gates start injecting mRNA technology into livestock. So damn, now they bypassing you and just going to the animals. So they spray more chemicals in the air than they actually clean, right? So we only have 18% oxygen that we're actually breathing. They're putting mRNA technology in our food. They've given Bill Gates devil the water, so he now treats the water. What do you think is going in the water? So every single thing that we do, our lives right now are on a track to death, right? That's what humans do. Humans screw up everything. We've been doing it since the beginning, right? But spirit is ultimately powerful and much more powerful over us dumb humans, right? And that spirit is controlled. How much of that spirit is controlled by the brain? So when I say that you have to live a detox, you have to make the assumption that every single part of your life, from the water that you shower in to the food you eat, I don't care if they call it organic, because we're in America. There's nothing organic here that hasn't been sprayed with pesticides and then frozen and put in a truck. Don't let them fool you on that either. The food we eat, the air we breathe, the chemicals that we breathe, the murder shows that are in plentiful amounts on TV, the freaking news, the music that these young jokesters are listening to that are only mind-numbing, mind control beats that are so low in frequency that all these kids want to go around doing is shooting each other. Every single thing that is man-made, right? That is man-made is going to damage nature. Everything. And if you're talking about mass manufacturing, right? Mass manufacturing, oh my God, yeah. Maya, Bill Gates owns most of the farmland in the country. And there's a reason for that. And people are like, Camille, he can't do that. Dude, he's been doing it. He's been doing it. So if we don't know how to balance, everything about wellness is balance. So if you don't know how to balance yourself every single solitary day, every minute of the day, and I don't mean walk around in depression like, oh my God, the world is coming for me and the world is going to kill me. Yeah, well, pretty much that's, greed and that's humans. That's what they do, right? They get greedy and then they want to kill people. Like, that's just us, right? But remember, vibrating higher than that never allows you to even be a part of it. That's the supreme supernatural power of what's inside here. But the minute you keep giving it to your government, you see what they do to you? You see what they do? You see what they do? I mean, if you don't see now, I don't know how much longer it's going to take. But if that's where you want to be, That's where you want to be. You're not going to live a high quality of life. You can't. If you remember, if you remember, the body on the inside is synapses, it's energy. But surrounding that energy is very, 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 very strong, powerful mineral water. Our salt water on the inside is the ocean. Same amount of sodium chloride in the body is in the ocean. We are the ocean. And that water, you can imagine, in order to not short circuit energy, has got to always be in balance. And the assumption is everything that man makes upsets that balance. But there are a gazillion things that you can do to keep your balance inside of the chaos. And that is what you need to figure out. Because people say, oh, Camille, well, what can I do? You can't ask me that, because you and I need to have a very big conversation about what it is that's missing for you. I can absolutely tell you what I do. Is that going to be feasible for you? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe what you need is something different. And of course, it's always going to be that way because we're all different, which is why people never get off meds. They don't have a medication for every individual person in the body, in the world, but the body has it. It's called the lymph system, right? It's called the lymph system. So if you can imagine, from the moment you wake up in the morning, everything that you surround yourself with has got to create water flowing in the body. If water is moving, if the water in the body is moving, it's on autopilot, y'all. It's a big circle in the body, and it is perfectly created to touch everywhere it needs to touch if it's moving. What causes the movement of the water? Percussion, vibration, which is why music is important. Scent is important. Who you surround yourself is important. Who you watch on TV, who you don't watch. Getting off meds. Yes. Yes, I can say this. Absolutely, I will. All of that, whether or not you talk to your husband, right? Or your wife, whether or not you scream at your kids, whether or not you take your kids to fast food places and let them eat it, whether they're eating milk, all of your life, everything that we experience has to come through here. So everything you allow to go inside of here is either going to keep your body well or it's going to kill it. That's it. When it comes to this, there's no gray, right? Whatever you put in, on, around, surround, into, watch in this body is either going to benefit it or it's going to kill it. That's it. That is it. And it may not kill it immediately. It's going to take a minute because that's how powerful the lymph system is, but it's going to kill it. And here is the problem with the mRNA, which is why I'm telling you all that. And this is what, so people call me, we do these, I'm not going to call the virus, I call them these C consults. So people want me to help assess for them what their family needs to do to keep themselves protected, right? Because that has to be an individual thing. So there are a number of things that we need to be doing for ourselves all the time. So people ask me, well, Camille, what do you do? That list is freaking long because it's everything. So we can talk about getting up in the morning, and the first thing I do is drink water. And then when I get up, I actually hug my husband. That's the first thing that we do in the morning in the bed. Give my husband a hug. There is superpower. It's energy, connecting energy. It's a charge. You know why I hug all my clients? It's an electric charge for me. I am a superhero at the end of my freaking day because of y'all. Because you come in and recharge me all the time. So I'm not gonna be fearful. Hell no, I'm greedy. I'm selfish. I'm hugging everybody. Because when I do, that makes me stronger. This energy never stagnates because what I put into it causes the water to flow. So I give my husband a hug. Then I come down and I take my CBD. Then I make sure that I drink 16 ounces of water. And this is dependent on what I did the days before. If I went out the night before and I had liquor, I'm drinking 24 ounces before I get out of the bed, and I have to get up and do some sort of stretching or some sort of jumping jack or something that's going to create the percussion in the body. And then I take my supplements, and then I may or I may not drink water. But depending on how my day goes, everything has to be, all of my decisions are cognizant of the lymphs, right? So I'm making sure I'm getting on my vibration plate. And if I can't get on my vibration plate for a minute, let's say I'm out or I'm at somebody's house, I'm using my fists to open up my lymphs. I don't watch the news. I make sure that I laugh a shitload every day. I mean, there is, I could sit here all day and tell you what Camille does to balance her lymphs. One thing that Camille definitively does, and my friends and family know this, and I love y'all anyway for being patient, but even if you weren't patient, I'd do it anyway. My ass won't answer the phone for days. If my energy has been expelled a lot healing people, I love my family, but I don't have to talk to you every day. And if my energy is not in a space where I can keep myself peaceful and deal with what you're going to tell me with your crazy energy, then I'm not answering the phone. Jesus, I grew up when there were no cell phones, right? So there was no emergency until you found out there was an emergency. I'm not going to create one. I'm not going to leave it next to me. You don't sleep with your phone in your room. Don't sleep with your computer in your room. Everything is frequency based. Our frequency, when it's low, is what causes us to be sick. When the vibrational frequency of our cells is high, then the body is balanced because the lymphs are always moving. It's automatic, right? But so many of us are so scared because we watch TV. And if you watch TV, you probably think you're dead already. You probably think you got every disease known to man and that you need to take 17 gazillion drugs, which in the commercial tell you they're going to kill you, right? So when I say vibrate higher, the faster cells vibrate, the more balanced the body is because the faster the lymphs move, carrying more oxygen into the body. The lower the cells, the slower the cells vibrate, the lower the vibration of the body, the slower the lymphs move, the more the mucus gets thickened in the body, and then you have problems. So when I say wellness is easy, wellness is easy. You simply control your frequency. And I mean everything about your frequency. Control what goes in to here. And I will add this caveat. It has to connect in a straight line. It has to make sense. Because if it doesn't make sense to the brain, then the brain is going to feed it chaos to the body, and then you're going to go back down to low vibration and the body cannot stay well. So those of us who vibrate higher, when we say vibrate higher, that is a literal interpretation of the necessity of your cells to vibrate at a frequency that causes your lymphs not to stop. And if your lymphs don't stop, there is no disease. Viruses cannot live in an oxygenated state. The body is one of the most oxygenated things in nature besides the ocean and the atmosphere. So we shouldn't get viruses, y'all. Those are man-made, not this. We were created to stay well. It is what we put in or what we allow in that stagnates that function, and our immunity is no more. It's very, very easy, but you have to ask the questions. You have to work the brain. You cannot let the brain atrophy, because as much as I love y'all, I swear to God, some of y'all are zombies. You wouldn't ask a question if the person who was giving you the crazy information told you better ask questions. Some of y'all would be like, nah, I shouldn't, because I was told that this person is supposed to tell me, and no, doesn't work like that, y'all. Not if you want to have a quality of life. You gotta ask questions. It's gotta freaking make sense to you. If it doesn't make sense to your brain is not going to use it to heal you. It can't do it, okay? So I said that because I need those of you who are distancing yourselves from people in your family or your friends that are asking questions. Because I'm going to say this too. It's us free thinkers, They're going to have to make things change if y'all aren't. You're welcome. So you want to be within the circle of as many truth seekers as you want. Call us conspiracy theorists all day. Yeah, I'm one. If a conspiracy theorist is someone who doubts the government, God daggone right, that's me. I'm gonna get a t-shirt and say it too. Absolutely. Because it's always a conspiracy until it becomes true, right? And how many of us said that what is happening now is going to happen, not because we wanted to be the smart ones on the block, but because it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. There was no logic in it. Still ain't logic in it. And people are still running, right? Still running to go get that jab and come back and wonder why they're sick. Because they just boosted the virus, you genius. We have to ask questions. Absolutely. Doubt is an understatement. Complete distrust of the government. Yeah, I don't even like spitting that word out of my mouth. I feel like it shouldn't even be in here. So yeah, I mean, look at the way America was created. Look what they did to create America. All you got to do is look at that. You think their conscience changed? You think their conscience changed since the beginning? That's what you think? And all of a sudden they decided that they wanted to care about people? When did that happen? Because I missed it. And yeah, I anything they tell me, I can't. So yes, I do know some of my affiliates actually do sound therapy. I do it down here in Atlanta. But here is an easy way to do sound therapy, y'all. Because we have to know the easy ways to do it. One of the easiest ways is go onto YouTube and search in the search bar, search for binaural beats, BINAURAL, for whatever diagnosis or issue you want. Binaural beats for sleep, binaural beats for anger, binaural beats for their like Rife frequencies, and that's a different conversation. Dr. Rife created this whole frequency thing. So there's a frequency playlist. So those, all right, so frequency tones are different than frequency music, similar and different. So that particular playlist is probably very similar to Rife frequencies, which are more the actual tone and not the music. See, for me, after a while, the tone gets really repetitive and I'm like, but you can go on YouTube and they got great options for binaural beats. And binaural is important because binaural means in between two ears, right? And what's in between two ears? The brain. So if you want the brain to be fed benefit, you're going to binaurally put things in here, right, that are pleasing. Yes, B-I, N as in Nancy, A-U-R-A-L, binaural. Yeah, binaural beats. So in speaking about asking questions and logic, we're going to segue into one of the conversations I wanted to have about the illogic of some of the things that you all allow yourself to be told from doctors. And that is this whole situation, because that's what I have to call it, because otherwise it's just stupidity to me. This whole situation of knee and hip replacements. So I have to laugh, but I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at, I don't know what I'm laughing at. I think in order to not cry, I have to laugh, because this is a conversation that is so prevalent for so many people. And I mean, people in their 20s and 30s are getting hip and knee replacements, y'all. And I need to, okay. All right. So I'm going to go in here and y'all know I don't have a filter. So if I hurt your feelings, I don't mean to intentionally, but maybe I do if it's causing you to wake up. Can you please tell me? Well, let me say this first. They're still digging up bones that are hundreds of thousands of years old. I'm just going to say that, right? Bones don't degenerate in a lifetime of a human. So If you have not been hit by a car or shot in the knee or the hip or had specific trauma to your bones with a weapon, what in the holy shitball name are you doing allowing people who are human? Remember, none of us are God. We are, if some of y'all get that. But in physicality, not. If you have not had a direct trauma to your bones, why are you allowing them to remove your bones, which aren't freaking damaged, and put in false plastic metal that, they're still suing freaking manufacturers from 40 years ago because now those people over time now need new knee replacements. Okay? So I need y'all to listen because this is about to be very important for y'all. Very important for y'all. And I'm going to give y'all some tests to do at home. And I guarantee you 100% of the time, because it never actually ever fails, that you can make yourself better if you have knee pain. So let's say this. Some people say to me, okay, y'all listen to this, Camille, I need to get a knee replacement. Why? You just walked in my office. Because I'm bone on bone. Yo, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to use the words that I actually want to use because I know there are youngsters on this show. But that is the dumbest, most illogical statement on earth. And this is the reason why. Cartilage is what allows the bones to rub across each other. If you're bone on bone, right? If you're bone on bone, you'd be a skeleton. You've seen the skeletons hanging up in science class? That's bone on bone. If that was a literal and a possibility, right? If that was a possibility, you wouldn't be able to freaking walk. You would be in a wheelchair. You would be bedridden. The pain that it would be impossible for joints that don't have any cartilage to actually move on top of each other. I don't even know outside of the fact that it's just like repetition, right? That people hear it all the time and just accept it without even asking what that actually means. Wait a minute. So you're telling me I need a knee replacement because there's no cartilage in between the knee? So how do I walk? How do I walk? When I walk, it hurts. Of course, you know what hurts in between joints when you walk? Water. And people are like, well, Camille, they showed me the x-ray and there was this big white space. Hello? If you're shown an x-ray or an MRI, right? And there's a white space in the x-ray, that doesn't mean nothing's there. That means something is blocking the light of the x-ray. What shows up white on an x-ray? Water and mucus. That's what. So you are allowing them to change your butt. We have one skeletal system. We have one system on the inside of everything to function this, right? Where is the logic in thinking that breaking your system and putting in false pieces in your system is going to do anything but break your body down for the rest of your life, and is the reason why many people then need 2, 3, 4 knee or hip replacements, right? So exactly, most of the time, once you hear people, and you have to wait after their first surgery, the problems don't start the first year. Hello, jab. They start 3 to 5 years in. They start 3 to 5 years in because your body has to build up that much scar tissue again to get back to pain. So it is impossible for there to be no cartilage in between the freaking knee joints. You could not walk. Now, let's do this. Let's assume, right? Let's assume that bones create cartilage, because y'all do know they don't, right? Bones don't create cartilage. Huh. So if a doctor says You have bone on bone because the cartilage is gone, and that's the problem. But the bone doesn't create cartilage. Cartilage comes from the lymph system. The lymph system has to carry collagen and other minerals into those tissues to create cartilage. Bones don't do it. So if that was real, and if that made sense, and if you actually didn't have cartilage in between your knees, one, you wouldn't be able to walk, but two, changing the bones wouldn't do a thing. Nothing, nothing, because cartilage is not created by bones. Cartilage is created by the lymph system, which created a problem in the first place. So let's go to the problem of pain in the hips and the knees when they tell you that you have pain. Remember, please remember that because the body is water on the inside and the skin is lined with mucus underneath all the way through the body, yeah, to carry the lymph water, to carry the oxygen, the lymph node trash cans are strategically placed to capture all of the junk the lymphs are dumping into it, and then they have to dump in their appropriate channels. If those trash cans are full and the lymph water isn't moving fast enough to keep the mucus thin, then wherever there is a stagnation of thickened mucus and water, there is going to be a backup in that space. How many times do I tell you all where the inguinal lymphs are? They're in the groin, across to the hips, right on top of the hip bone. In the back of the knee, there are very large popliteal lymph nodes that need to dump. If you are hurting in your hips or in your knees, it is only an overflow of the lymph node trash cans in that space. And I am going to give you all who have knee and hip pain something to do tonight, every day, until the pain goes away, so that you don't go down the goofy train, right? Because hip and knee replacements are goofy trains. You're Donald Duck World if that's what you are thinking is going to work to get rid of your pain, right? Because many of y'all don't do what? Many of y'all don't sit in front of the doctor who told you you needed a knee replacement and ask him why. Why? Why? How? What is the cause? And what is the change of the joint going to do to fix the problem? Many of y'all can save your own lives by just opening up your mouth, right? You can save your own life. So here is what you're going to do, people, if you have hip pain, okay? I'm going to stand up and show you, and I've showed you this before. Across the hips, from the side of the hip, many of y'all have back pain that's not your back. It's the inguinal lymphs on the side of your hips. If you have hip pain, take your knuckles, right? Knuckles are very strong. That's why gorillas walk on them. Take your knuckles and do this on the side of your hips. A couple seconds, and then come over here and do this. Sorry, chit chat. I have my hands in fists and I'm actually pounding my hips because y'all can't see me. But you simply do this, and don't do it unless you're in the mirror, because in seconds, in literal seconds, you are going to watch your body change and your pain dissipate, because what you're doing is popping open those overflowed trash cans of nodes and dumping back into the groin lymphs. So I'm sorry, you start on the side of the hips and you come all the way across the groin and then down on either sides of the pelvis into the tops of the knees, right? Into the tops of the thighs. For those of you that have hip pain, your hip pain will begin to go away instantly. And that is the natural way the body is supposed to behave. All this other shit we doing with medications and surgery, that's Rockefeller stuff. But our creation allows us, when something is beneficial, it happens automatically. Don't ask me. Ask every single one of my clients, ask any of my affiliates, ask their clients. It's supposed to be instant because it's right. If it's right, it's instant. You know that benefits to the body don't need recovery time, right? Only trauma does. It's stupid as hell that we have things that we're doing to us, right? That we are doing to us that actually cause us to have to recover. You know what you're recovering from? Trauma. trauma. And some of y'all voluntarily sit in that trauma, right? Some of y'all sit there because another human who didn't create you is telling you you need to sit there. Okay. So that's hips. For knee pain, and y'all, you can Google this. I put it in a reel last week. You can Google where the popliteal lymph nodes are on the back of the knee, and you do the same thing. Take your knuckle and pound the back of your knee. Empty the trash cans. And the knee pain, varicose veins, spider veins, if you look at people with varicose and spider veins, where do they normally start? Behind the knee, right in the popliteal lymph nodes. Because if the lymph nodes in the body are full, then the lymph water that carries the oxygen to thin the mucus that's now got all of these toxins in the water, there isn't enough of it to move. And these trash cans get backed up and they spill into the tissues around the knees and the hips, and then you hurt. So instead of doing something very easy and getting instant relief, y'all go and let them break your body. They victimize it. They kill it. They cut it up. They cut it up just like all them murder shows on Discovery Channel. They cut it up. But guess what else they do? All of those lymphs that were warning you that there was an overflow are now being cut through, traumatized, never to be grown back again. And so your expectation should be 5 to 10 years, you're not going to be able to walk, or you have pain again, or the surgery didn't work. No, if you lived, the surgery worked. But the problem that was causing your issue in the beginning was never fixed in the first place, because they intentionally were not taught about the lymph system. If people understood the power of the body, big pharma would be nothing. Nothing. But we have been programmed out of the ability to use our brains. And many of y'all come in and they say, Camille, I feel like I have pain in the back of my knee. Well, if you're the one who's saying that you feel like you have pain in the back of your knee, then the pain is in the back of your knee. Take your hands and beat that out if it's just water. But you would instead choose to go to someone who has no clue. They have no clue because they've never seen your problem until you go in there and show it to them. But you saw it first, right? And then they ask you what's happening. You prefer to go to someone who doesn't know you at all and take a wild guess based on not healing. Rockefeller didn't create the AMA to heal, y'all. He created it to make money, control what the doctors do, and make sure that he makes money off of surgery and meds. That was his point. You can read any book about Rockefeller and find out that information. So I'm not speaking down against doctors. Y'all know I don't do that. I don't. What I'm speaking down about is what they were trained to memorize. And what they were trained to memorize has no healing in it for you. None, because it's impossible to heal from outside of the body. It is absolutely impossible. Some of you who are sitting now, who have pain, take your knuckles behind your knee, and pound your knee. You're going to be sensitive the first couple times, but you're so welcome. Thank you for watching. You will dump over those lymph nodes. And if you use percussion, listen, if some of y'all who have knee and hip pain would do 5 jumping jacks a day, your hip pain and your knee pain will go away. It's percussion, y'all. Get a vibration plate, soak in Himalayan salt, take black seed oil. I could sit here for the next hour and a half and tell you how many herbs and oils and plants and exercises and music and all types of free shit that will help to heal your body by increasing the percussion. But y'all love to run to humans to heal spirit. It is impossible to do. It is impossible. It will always be impossible. Absolutely impossible. So my desire for you when I'm talking about logic is always, if you come see me, ask me what, when, why, where, and how. And if I can't answer all of those questions, not just one, but all of them, then I can't help you. Then I can guess and I could try and help you. But if I don't know where the start is, how do I know where the goalpost is? That's like my sister, is she's so sweet. She's cooking dinner for us. But it's like that. Let's say she didn't know what she was cooking, how many people she was cooking for, what people like. How is she going to make something that is going to be pleasing? She won't. Like I said, if you're running a marathon and you're running a 10K, but you don't know where the start is, how do you know where the end is? You don't, y'all. And you put your bodies on the chopping block, literally, right? Literally, literally. One of my clients said yesterday, and I loved it. She said, voluntary surgery is self-victimization. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Because if you don't understand the power of this one unit and you keep letting them cut into this one unit, I mean, how long do you think your car is going to run? If you keep taking it to the mechanic and the mechanic keeps taking out pieces because he can't figure out, he doesn't know where the start or the original problem is, so he just takes out parts. How long do you think that car is going to run? Not very long, right? How long do you think your body's going to run if you keep cutting into it, yet it's one system that's connected completely and sealed from the outside? How long do you think how long do you think that your body is going to benefit you? Is your body proud of you? Does your body appreciate what you do to it? Does it? If you asked your body to give it the same care and support that you give it, would you live or would you be sick all the time? We have got to get back to not being atrophied. Oh, let me go back to the hips for a minute. So many of y'all, right, when we're talking about this 2-year plan that they had, it wasn't just the jabs, it was also the masks. If we breathe out our toxin through breathing out, right? That's how we get a lot of this shit out, is we breathe it out. They had you wear masks on your face and your nose so that for 2 years you breathed in nothing but your own fecal matter. And then they told you to stay at home and you sat. So if you're sitting all day, what did you just do that I just talked about? You've collapsed your inguinal lymphs, right? You've closed them, which means instead of the lymphs being able to carry the toxins all the way through and then out, they're just dumping them. And those toxins are now what they call hip pain, fibroids, endometriosis, prostate problems. And all y'all got to do is start the percussion. That's it. If you have pain, if you ask one of my affiliates if Cheryl's on here. I don't know if she's on there, but ask Cheryl how she healed her husband of what they call cancer. Easy. It's movement, it's herbs, it's water, it's what the body is made of. If the body, all of its function, all of its fluids, all of its bones, all of its tissues and cells are on the inside in a space that takes in things that man can't recreate, then why wouldn't what we put in there only be the things that the body needs, right? Cheryl is on. Hi, Cheryl. You literally have to put the body back in its wellness state. And many times, like the ocean, that just means getting rid of the sediment. How do you get rid of the sediment? You shake it up. It's already in water. Shake it up. Percussion, stand on a vibration plate, use your actual knuckles on the lymph spaces in the body. I mean, Jesus, and do it the way you need to. Go and Google the inguinal lymphs. Okay, this is another homework assignment. For those of y'all who have hip pain, yeah? If you have hip pain, or you have fibroids, or you have endometriosis, or you have prostate issues, or you have digestive issues, or if you have diabetes, or what they call diabetes, I want you to go and I want you to Google the inguinal, inguinal, inguinal or groin lymph nodes. Look at them and then take your knuckles in the mirror and pound them. And that is proof positive 100% of the time of what I'm saying. That's how you get information that you trust, right? You get the information, you do it, and it works. You don't need data and reports. Data is for computers. We have gotten to a point where we have let them make us numbers, and you expect them to care about you, but we're a number. So they use, when they're talking about us, they use data. Why in the shit are you using data when you're talking about me? I'm not data. I'm not a computer. I'm not a robot. They're trying to make us that, but I'm not. So what you do is you act like you have a human brain, and you use it so it doesn't atrophy, so that what it sends to the body is healing and healing only. That's it. It's that simple, y'all, which is why they try to control it all the time. Why do you think the internet was created? TV was created. I mean, and I will suggest this too. This is another piece of homework. Those of you who have not seen the movie The Truman Show, y'all go back and watch the movie The Truman Show. And how many decades ago was that movie? A couple. And here we are in this exact space. And stop doubting yourself and doubt everything else. Doubt everything else that is not in your span control of your brain space. That's the only way that you keep this energy balance, right? Is to understand what it is you actually want and need in your space. No energies aren't going to affect everybody the same way, because they're all different energies. But if you don't sustain this one from the inside, you are controlled by every other single one on the planet, which means you never stay well. You're always pulled everywhere, 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 everywhere. And depending on the day, depending on how many times somebody repeats something to you, then you're in a state that's not even you. It's not even you. We're definitely living in the Truman Show, y'all. I mean, this is like for the 70s babies like me, like what is happening now in the world. I've seen it in every sci-fi movie since 1980. It's we didn't think we would be alive to see it. So maybe for my generation, I'm just like, we're actually living what they told us was happening decades ago. So what I need you to do is separate your brain from that. Because if you don't, you're a slave to whatever is controlling that frequency. And that could be anything. Cigarettes, alcohol, people, children, that could be anything. If you absolutely don't control this, that, listen, why do you think that the CIA focused on the word conspiracy theory, on that term, right? Because that's a very easy term that they can focus on, that talks about the control of the brain. They know the power of that. And they know that if they control yours, they can do anything. Like, let the 2 years that just passed be what they were. And y'all just followed like sheep. Like, because your brain atrophied. That's what they want, right? They don't want you to use it. Do you know the power of the energy of a synapse in the brain? That controls your entire body function. Everything, everything, because cells vibrate and communicate in energy. But that energy is affected and balanced by the water in the lymphs. So those two things, water and energy, water and frequency, the atmosphere, the world, you know how powerful the actual planet is? Let's just talk about the sun. I mean, and we, particularly those that have melanin in your skin, we have the same general chemical makeup as the sun. Think about how powerful that is, and think about how sad it is that we give that power away simply because we don't use this. We don't ask a question. You know what works the brain? Asking questions. You know what works the brain? Reading. And I don't mean being read to. God, y'all, some of y'all ain't read a book in I don't know how long. And y'all are like, yeah, I'm reading so-and-so on an audiobook. You're not reading shit. You're being told, you're being read to, which is conditioning your brain not to use itself. And like a muscle, it will atrophy. And when your brain atrophies, your body is sick. And they know that. And that means they can put anything inside of here. They can put anything inside of here. I mean, y'all just about forgot about the other C word. Y'all forgot about cancer during that pandemic. And it's all because of what they put on TV, and nobody asked who, what, when, why, or how. Because those have to be answered, right? In order for the brain to make sense of it. But they know that, but we don't. We don't. All you got to do, listen, okay, so here's more homework. I'm going to give y'all lots of homework this week, right? Particularly those of you who have been told you have a diagnosis. And I say it like that because I don't believe in diagnoses. Diagnoses are just descriptions of inflammation in different parts of the body. So I don't believe in them. This is what I want you to do, right? Particularly for those of you who are on meds. I want you to look through your medical history. If your doctor has a portal, he should. I want you to literally go through your entire diagnosis history, and I want you to read it. Do you know how many people don't read their medical reports? I don't go to the doctor, so I would know, but I know because my parents are doctors. There are portals. Go and read many of y'all don't even know what the name of your medication is. Many of y'all don't even know the name of the narcotic that you are taking that is supposed to sustain your life. And that is zombified. That is Zombieville. So those of you who have diagnoses, I want you to go into your portal and look at your records. I want you to read. I don't want you to do anything else. I want you to read what is written there. If you don't know a word, Google it and write down the description of that word. I want you to look at everything that you're taking, and I want you to research what is in those pills that is going to affect the problem that should have been answered in your records. If those two things cannot sync up, you better stop taking what you're taking. And they freak you out about that too. And they're like, oh my God, you can't stop taking that. First of all, your body didn't want it in the first place, y'all. It's control of this. If they keep repeating that to you, so many clients will come to me and say, Camille, I can't stop taking that. Why? Why? Because that's my question to you. Why? Well, my doctor says I can't. Why? I don't know. Because if you don't know, then why are you doing it? Because you're a slave to that doctor? Because that's clearly what that is, right? The body never wants meds in the first place. Many times when people come off their meds, what they feel in symptoms is a detox of the drugs. It's a detox of the freaking drugs, right? So I don't tell people to stop short and be like, you've been taking meds for 75 years and you got to stop them all. No. What I'm telling you to do is slow your roll and pay attention to what your body is telling you. One time, you take your meds once a day. You take your meds twice a day. One day, take them once a day. However, don't just be brain dead in that. Change the schedule one day and pay attention to what your body is telling you. Do you feel more energetic than when you take both pills? Do you feel less energetic? Do you have a headache? Do you feel great? Do you feel hungry? These are the types of study that are going to keep you on a road outside of this genocide. Nicotine addiction, any addiction requires a reset of the limbs. Kimberly, what state are you in? So any of those addictions simply requires, because what's happening now is those molecules of nicotine are staying in your lymph system and they keep getting fed, making you think that you actually want it. So if you're in a place that one of my affiliates are, you need to go get some frequency resets so your lymphs reset in the body. That's any addiction. And I need you all to really, really, really pay attention to what your body is saying. Your body will always tell you when it likes something or when it doesn't. But oftentimes it is a very quick change. It is very quick. And if you're not in tuned enough to your energy on the inside, you won't see it, right? You absolutely, absolutely won't see it. So one of the things you could do, Kimberly, hold on one second. Chit Chat Radio. See y'all next week. Next week, I don't know what we'll be talking about, but it will be good. It'll be good. Something else will come up this week that I have to talk about. So thank y'all, as always, Chit Chat, for being on. I will check you all next week. So, yes, symptoms are only communication. Remember, the body doesn't have its own brain.